How's it going out there, guys? Welcome to the show. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Let's head on over to Discord. There's a few people in there, a few very important people in there. Let's see what they got to say. And I think one of them is the beautiful Benny Van Velsen. Betty.
Hey, guys. I'm here.
Hey, you're here. Thanks.
So that's enough. I have to mute from time to time because I'm a little bit, how do you say, under the weather? Is that the case?
Yeah, you sound pretty darn good, though.
Yeah, I have a bright moment at the moment, but it could change rapidly.
Sure. I just want you to know that somebody pshed me in chat.
Yes, I saw that. I wanted to mention that. It was nice.
I just looked over there and I seen psh, and don't psh me. And you're not first, sunshine. I am.
I like that attitude to flatten the curve. It's really good.
It was good. It got a snicker from me.
Yeah, well, it got a total smile on my face.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Did you like my first time? I went, it's Erst, right?
Eerst.
Yeah, Erst. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's then you have to put an E behind it. Eerste.
Erst.
Yeah.
So that means first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But usually we put a like the, right? Or de eerste, the first, de eerste.
No, not Easter, and it doesn't. It
No,
isn't
not Easter. Eerste.
Yeah,
That's
it
how you
isn't. You
pronounce it.
can't put a definite. It's not. It's you can't put a definite in there. It's just first, not the first.
Yeah, but we say it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that contextually compromised?
No, because when we say I'm de eerste, that's correct.
Yeah, but that means you're. I'm the first, but that doesn't make any. If you got to, what do they call the? It's a definite. It's out of
Yeah,
context.
in my language, it's a lidwoord, but that doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah, I got a big problem with the first when you're in the context of your first in the video, not the first. The first means that you're the first, like in all contexts. That doesn't work here.
Oh, and in Dutch land it does.
And no, it doesn't. It's stupid.
Oh, yeah. I know my language the best, I think.
The best.
Yes, the best, the first, the most important.
Yeah, but you're not that.
Benny.
You're not that. You're not that. You're not that in all contexts, is what I'm trying to say. The context is first on the video.
That doesn't matter. I can be the first on the video.
That's stupid.
Yeah, you are.
Ain't gonna be 6 hours today either, Tourette.
I would say psh.
Yeah, the psh.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam.
Third.
Psh.
It's
Good
better than
evening.
kid stuffed.
Don't give us the good evening. We don't want to hear it.
Okay.
That would be
Evening.
the. Yeah, I knew you were gonna do it. Is that the evening or just evening?
I did enter by saying third.
Oh, come on. These guys eat tea, for crying out loud.
Of course, you eat your tea.
That always
Eat
disturbed me.
tea. You eat your tea. You don't eat tea. You're the one that's just. Oh, Betty, you see, you're in a quagmire now.
It's not a
You
quag.
said I'm going to eat tea.
It's not a quagmire. It's quagmire.
What?
It's not a quagmire. It's a friggin' the quagmire. Jeez, can't even pronunciate correctly. The first.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, it's a definite. That's what I was searching for. It's a definite article. So the first, back to that. It's a definite article. That doesn't make any damn sense in that context.
Sweetheart, the thing is that we don't say eerste just like that.
You don't.
Well, usually we do,
Well,
usually not.
well, you should.
Well, when you know my Dutch language as well as I know your English, then you have a say.
No, no, don't give that. That's not possession. Let me tell you
Oh, yes.
something. It's no.
Oh, yes.
Oh
I
no.
have. Yes, I call dibs on my country.
You can call dibs on that. I'm not calling dibs on English. I was born into this shit.
Yes, and I'm into Dutch. For crying out loud.
So it doesn't automatically become mine. I mean, if somebody came here from, Zimbabwe, and we're driving over a bridge, if he says, well, that's a really nice bridge, is that yours? No, it's not mine. I didn't make the damn bridge, number one. Number two, I wouldn't know the first thing in making that damn bridge. Maybe the foundation, but that's about it. Follow?
Yeah, so when they come to destroy it, you don't feel the need to defend it.
That is really strange non sequitur.
Yeah, but I am all into the non sequitur.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So you sort of say it's yours then, right? Your bridge. It's for your country. You are sort of semi-responsible also for it. Right?
No, not semi-responsible.
Also
Not
for your
responsible at
language.
all.
You need to keep up the language.
Not responsible at all. It didn't have anything to do with the bridge.
You keep your appearances up, right? So if something is yours or the colloquial yours, you tend to defend it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
I defend
mine.
my language.
It's unwarranted possession.
No, it is warranted. I will defend it to the teeth.
Why is it warranted?
Because it's my language, it's my culture.
No,
it's
that's begging the question because you can't have the answer that it's my language and when it's my language is in question.
My language was in question. I can defend it.
It's not your language. That's the point.
Why it's not my language?
You were born into it. Do we got to go down this road again?
Yes. You already were there.
I think the point is it's Dutch, not Betty.
Yes, exactly, Adam. Thank you.
Are you working against me too, Adam?
I was just trying to clarify.
You one.
Oh.
You'd have to pay. You'd have to pay him.
A Christmas special, sort
Holy
of like
shit! You'd have to pay him an extra
right?
goat.
And we're already in the middle of a war.
Yeah, you'd have to give him an extra goat, Betty, if you were to slap him.
Goat? I haven't even gotten them.
Normally it does cost extra, but that sounded like I was getting it for free.
Is Adam now not close to his mic, or is that me?
I heard him just fine. I think it's you.
I can't hear it. Maybe it's my ears. There must be some residue in there.
Residue from the void.
No, how could it be a residue in a vacuum?
That's exactly right. I know. I was
There
being
you go.
ironical.
So there's something in there.
Yeah, I was being ironical.
Well, it was a non sequitur.
It was a purposeful non sequitur.
Well, there you go. Let me copy that one, and we're right back at you, right?
Right back at you. Don't even know what we're talking about, for goodness.
Oh yeah.
You're
See,
taking,
I knew I shouldn't have
you're
showed
taking
up
possession
today.
of things.
I should have been sick.
You're taking possession of things that's not warranted.
And you taking advantage of a sick woman.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Right off the red herring fallacy land into feelings.
Feelings. Nothing but feelings.
All right, what else are we going to talk about? You see, you never know what's going to go on in here.
Well, we filled up the panel now, didn't we?
Well, we filled up the panel now. Did we? As in a question? That didn't make any damn sense.
Well, I hear other people say it the same way.
That just because other people say it doesn't mean it's right.
exactly.
That's not a reason or a
That's
rationale.
exactly right. So when I say to you when I say it has to be de eerste, right? Then you need to do that. And
Now
that
you're
makes you
jumping.
wrong.
Now you're jumping to the Easter, trying to define the
You can't even pronounce it.
Easter, trying to divert
You
away.
can't even pronounce it, man.
Trying to divert away from the next topic that we were on when you said that I think we have a full panel. Do we?
And we filled up the panel, didn't we?
What's filled up? We only
With
got
your babble,
one,
you filled up the
two,
panel.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The panel's not full. What constitutes a full panel?
Well, for you, more than 2.
More than 2. That was an intended slight.
If we have 3 people, we have a full panel already.
That's an intended slight, right? That's
Yeah, well,
it's so fucking juvenile.
Take it as is.
It's so juvenile.
Whatever makes you
Whatever it
sleep.
takes, right?
Yep.
Adam, save us.
I'd have said, do we not? Oh, I will. I'm going to just do a little preamble, and then hopefully Eli's about. I think if you listen to today's show and clearly the after show, you'll have heard the formation of the new housekeeping question, which has been bounded about a little bit.
Of a new housekeeping question, not the new housekeeping question.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Hey.
Your sister.
I'm not sure what number it is actually. Do you know what number it?
I have no idea. How many are there?
Well, it's up to Eli. He's the one that's brought it in. He should be able to number it. Just to say, you can listen to today's show. Really good show because you can hear the echo chamber that we are as we get through this. We think we've got to a good point and a good question, which is quite encompassing of a lot of the argument that's being brought there. So, Eli, if you're there, I'll let you ask the new housekeeping question, and then if anyone wants to have a bang.
No, and then you got to do the background.
Okay. Yeah, so what's up, guys? Mic check. Is everything sounding okay?
Yeah, that sounds sort of okay. Good enough. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so the what we settled on was, is there any evidence that level is not horizontal? Pretty simple stuff. Because we were arguing about, whether we can use level and horizontal synonymously, because they would, if we were to use the word level, then they would just tell us unjustifiably that we're begging the question. And it's like, well, why go through all that nonsense? I think we found a better solution, which is to just, instead of asking the previous way, which was, is there any evidence that all points along a level or horizontal is equidistant from the center of Earth or sphere, to is there any evidence that level is not horizontal?
Is there any evidence that level is not horizontal? That is the question. Where did it come from? Anyone?
Well, so Brian and I, you want to go, Adam?
Yeah, let Adam go. Your mic's a little bit of a train wreck, Elijah. Adam, what's the genesis that led to the conclusion of the new housekeeping question?
Yeah, this afternoon's bit, I think, was really, even though a little heated, it was really productive because we were arguing the nuance. I'm arguing why I think it's going to get blocked at this point. And this is the point of change, would be to recognise where the block is. And I suppose the best way to summarise it is the way Eli did at the end, is to say, we've just spent 2 hours arguing whether to use the word horizontal or level.
All right, you're not answering my question.
I'm about to, but now the question is formulated with both those words because that is the nuance.
Still didn't answer my question. Listen to my question.
Go on then.
What was the genesis that led to the conclusion, the genesis argument that led to the conclusion of the housekeeping question being added to the repertoire?
Yeah, mic check. I think it was just my service before. So initially, Brian said something about level, about Bev making an argument that is false, because not that it's false, but you would have to go ahead and prove that that horizontal is, you can apply that to Earth, because it's like, well, they would just say that we're begging the question because horizontal just goes on infinitely. It's the concept. So I said, well, no, because the words level and horizontal, like they're defined based off of what we experience. Like when we're building things, using tools, that there's only one definition that matches that. And then you have this cherry pick definition that apparently, as we discussed in the show, that there's like in just one, as far as we found so far, one definition in Merriam-Webster, like, I don't know, 3 definitions down, where they have a definition for level that actually contradicts itself anyway. So that's why yeah.
So Brian was the genesis of this question?
Yeah, because he disagreed with. Yeah, because he disagreed with Bev's statement that water. Well, not disagreed, but he said you can't use it as an argument to state that water level establishes a horizontal plane of reference. And I pushed back and said, why not? I mean, that's what it is. And he said, well, because a baller can come along and say, well, prove it over 3 miles or 10 miles or whatever. And then I was like, well, isn't that just a burden of proof reversal fallacy off the back of them trying to beg the question? And that's the beginning of this whole back and forth.
Yo.
It's that definition. Oh, Chop.
Hey, what's up, Chocolate? So I'm still confused.
Right, so that definition that exists in Merriam-Webster.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was part of the discussions, because 10th brought it up, but weeks ago that was part of the discussions with Eli Bryan and that, and in terms of dealing with that, because it gives the ballers a route in of some validity.
I think I got it.
I say this was the good thing of talking it all through, because you're mitigating for that semi-validity that they've got, or perceived validity, certainly, that the ballers think they've got with that definition.
So the genesis of this argument, probably, I have it up on the live stream. I did gather that much this morning because I heard Merriam-Webster's definition of level. Thought we dealt with this like 5 years ago, but okay, good enough. So this is where it originated from, and this was over on Bev's, is what you're saying?
That's what Bev's synonymous with, isn't he? This argument. And initially, when we had the initial question of the level, that was too convoluted. But all of that's coming from that argument with the ballers.
That definition, that argument with the ballers, it's been here for a long time, right? This little train wreck right here. Right? So let me just state it. This is from Merriam-Webster. Everyone's going into the definition, trying to define level. Yeah? Is that a good summation? Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right. So from Merriam-Webster, level. Having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. So that's the problem, right? That's the definition. Of course, they don't state this part of the definition, right? They just state, and when I say they, I'm talking to anti-flat earther retards. They just say this, correct? conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. Correct?
That's correct.
Yep, but they forget the first part of the definition. This definition, having no part higher than another, right there, having no part higher than another, and conforming to the curvature, right there, those two parts, that's a paradox.
Contradiction.
That's the point that Chocolate raised in the debate, discussion, semi-argument, yeah? That structures that, so if you're asking for that pivot, it's when Chocolate's arguing, that's all that matters to him. Fundamentally. And it's the point that I'm making, that it's the point of distraction away from taking the equidistant bit. So when we bin the equidistant, we've realised where the crux of the argument sits. And that's the point in twisting the question.
Well,
it is now.
I don't care. I don't care about any equidistance because that's not part of this definition.
Was the point. Yeah. That was important to abandon that because it made it too convoluted to the point that our debate went to, and when Nathan tested it using level and horizontal, as soon as you've got that level in, that's where it descends to this fundamental point. And that was Chocolate's fundamental point, saying that's the only thing I care about.
Yeah, he's correct. Yeah, so this is a standing, like I said, it's a paradox. It's a law of non-contradiction because you can't have no part higher than another and then conforming to curvature. Like I said, that's a paradox. That's an inherent contradiction. That means this definition right here is bogus. You throw it out because it can't stand.
Hello, everyone.
What's up, Brian? It can't stand on its own because it's a paradox.
Well, could I add something
and that's
in there?
Why, just one sec. That's why this point is brilliant, and why the question fundamentally, as we said, the ballers were left with this one bit from Merriam-Webster, so bring it to the table first of all, and then we can get it out the way, which is this argument of horizontal, and we can deal with it by, as you say, it's a complete contradiction in of itself.
Yes, because this is this part right here, the first part, that is no elevation change. This part right here is elevation change. You can't have no elevation change and elevation change at the same time. It's paradox. So violation of the law of non-contradiction. Simple, because curvature.
Well, I would,
hold on a second. Because curvature is a measure of the change in elevation. That's all you have to do is define curvature, and it's all over. So all I got to do is define curvature, right? From the United States.
Well, not really.
What do you mean, not really?
What
do you mean, not really?
The change in what if
if you let me speak?
Allow you to speak. It's a in-your-face contradiction.
I'm trying to let me define. Let me just clear up what I'm saying. What I mean is that if I was a bowler, I could claim that no height as far as mean sea level goes is different from the center of my globe.
Well, no, hold on.
I could try and.
No, you can't.
I could try wrangle that in.
No, you can't. Why? Because you're begging the question. That's what you're trying to prove. So you're assuming the very thing you're attempting to prove. That's a fallacy. We're going.
Yeah, but that's what I could do. Yeah.
You could, but you'd be fallacious, and your argument would be void, just like this definition is void.
That's been my point.
Good job, Chocolate. You learn well.
What do you mean good? No, Chocolate wasn't arguing with Brian. I've been repeating that to Brian from the genesis of this conversation, to use the word that you used. And he just said, yeah, but so what?
Yeah, but
no. There's a mistake here.
I think we're going too far here. We're going into too many ancillary topics. Let me go back to my first one. So, having no part higher than another, right? And then you have to define curvature, right? So, this is saying no elevation change. This is saying you have to define curvature. If this has elevation change in it, then this is a paradox and the whole argument's void and the definition, right? So What is curvature? Curvature from the United States Naval Academy is the rate of change of slope. So it's the second derivative of elevation surface. What's slope? Penn State, slope is a measure of change in elevation. It's over. It's over. Right there. Follow? Contradiction.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Right there. It's all over. So
I agree, totally. Totally agree.
Yep.
I'm up. I disagree with you there.
I understand Brian's point, but it requires them to then go and redefine height and all sorts. And if they go in there, they've lost anyway. Aren't
it's
they?
it's over right here. If
Yeah,
they-
I will.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do have to say that Brian, he never disagreed with that point. That's true.
Yeah, so it's all over. It was all over from the beginning. Is what I'm trying. If this is where the genesis comes from this definition right here, then they have nothing. That is the ballers, the retards. Go ahead, Adam.
I think sorry, real quick. I just think like it got a little contentious with which word to use, level and horizontal. But I guess when we figured out, well, their claim is that level isn't horizontal, so therefore that's their claim to back. So that's why that's become the question, because it's very simple, and we could use both words because they're synonymous.
Correct.
We said earlier, didn't we? I was chatting with Nathan. The only place that they're not synonymous and they have to have a different meaning is if you and to use them on a ball. Other than that, and that's where you have to argue in your own head, but everywhere else in reality they're totally synonymous, except on a ball when they use them.
On a
Then
ball,
they
yeah,
have to
but
have-
that's what they're attempting to prove. That's assuming that's a begging the question fallacy.
and that's the point of the question, right? How is a level not horizontal? So that's the, and I said that's the first thing that deals with what we've just been through, and that is their only rebuttal to appeal to dubious Merriam-Webster. And I had a good scroll through the Oxford. There's nothing like it in the Oxford at all.
No, there won't. There won't be.
No.
There won't be. If there was anything in any other definition, then that gets thrown out too. You can't have a standing law of identity violation in a friggin' definition. You can't do that.
I think Tony brought that point up in terms of should we attack on the validity of Merriam-Webster, because you look at the others and they won't touch it with the barge polar definition like that. It's because there is this exact problem highlighted in red and blue.
Yes.
You know, and that's why they wouldn't besmirch their reputation to prove what's this doing? It's just a reaffirming of the ball for no reason. Very odd that it's in there. If you saw it in Wikipedia, you wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
But it does
This
question
is why I
Merriam-Webster.
called it. This is why I called it prestidigitation. It's just magic at this point. Reification, begging the question, nothing more.
Well, Merriam-Webster at present are being actually attacked because they have actively been changing the definitions of words to fit whatever political narrative that is in place. I think mostly in the US. So they've actually been changing the definitions of words. So Merriam-Webster as a source has diminished in their validity.
Yeah, be careful of that. That could be classified as an all or nothing fallacy. So just be careful. People make mistakes, right? Merriam-Webster and any of the other guys, U.S. Naval Academy, it doesn't matter. Penn State doesn't matter. Any of the dictionaries, Cambridge, all of them, they're not beyond the reproach of a mistake, right? So that doesn't mean everything else that comes from them is bogus. Each subject, topic, item has to be evaluated on its own merits. Correct? Does that follow?
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
I think it ends right here. I don't know how this leads to the new question. I think like Chocolate, I didn't hear Chocolate point that out. Sorry, Chocolate. I've been hearing pieces of this argument for about 3 weeks. If you made a mention to this, then you are exactly correct.
That's the question. Say it again, Chocolate. That is the question. What he's about, basically.
Is there any evidence that level is not horizontal?
No, there can't be because it's by axiom, right? Let's get the definition of level. Other definitions of level, sorry. So we go to dictionary.com. Level, having no part higher than another, having a flat or even surface. Level, being in a plane parallel to the plane of the horizon. Horizontal. Level, to make a surface level, even or flat. So flat, horizontal, and level are all synonymous. They all mean the same thing. From Dictionary, Cambridge. Level, not rising or falling or higher on one side, but even in all directions. Horizontal or flat. There you go. It's over right there. See this? Horizontal or flat. Past the semicolon. It's over. They're finished. It's by axiom. Right? It's over. Prosecution
Yep,
rests.
that's why I said it's a propositional statement. It's just what is.
And that's why it's now a valid housekeeping question, just as much as can you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline, you see?
Yep.
Pack it.
Well, I think it's a much better question than stating that horizontal is level if you're asking for evidence that it's not, because you don't have to prove that it is then, because the lack of evidence from the opposition would prove that it is, when they can't prove it's curved.
This is why Chocolate's intervention was so good. Yeah? Because it's about dealing with reality. When Chocolate said, that's what hit me. But, and then he went to that bit. That's the reality. And that is, I said, the only reality that exists in anybody's mind, that horizontal is level. And we could spend hours arguing about it. So to turn the question and put the burden, make sure the burden of proof is exactly where it needs to be. The only place it exists is in globe world, yeah? And to them come and present us with the evidence that demonstrates that level is not horizontal.
I agree.
Boy, that was quick.
You said be succinct.
Yeah, I did.
Question.
Go ahead.
That's the thing I like about the question. If you think about it from its beginnings to what it is now, how succinct the question is, but how powerful it is.
I don't know about the question. All I know is the genesis of the argument. There was no argument to begin with. It was conjured. They're using a paradox as an argument, which is nonsensical buffoonery. Right?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's not an argument.
Yep.
It only becomes an argument when they either beg the question or flip the burden of proof on you.
No, it's not an argument at all because you're using a paradox as the premise.
That was the point of me initially wanting to use geometry, because it's that paradoxical nature of what the premise is.
They don't know what curvature is. I've been telling you, how long I've been saying this, that I've asked ballers for years to define curvature. They refuse to define it. It always goes off into another direction, you know, talking about my mother or my family. It's just a simple question. Define curvature, baltards. I haven't heard one do it. They can't do it because as soon as they do it, as soon as there's an elevation change, it's all over. And it's their, what's so funny is it's a major tenet of their religion, right? It's 8 inches per mile squared. Drop, vertical, elevation change. That's a major tenet of their religion. And it's correct with curvature, right? Because that's the definition of curvature, elevation change. So Are they retarded?
That's the reason why I always thought, okay, so they have this one very special definition that they can hold on to. Okay, but it starts off with no part higher than the other, and then the next word after that is curvature.
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. How does that work?
It doesn't.
That's
And even to measure in reality, how they measure what is called curvature, which is defined as slope, right, as a measurement, right? How they measure that is through the process of what's known in surveying as rise over run. All rises are verticals, all runs are horizontals. So rises and runs are perpendiculars. That's how they define it. So it's defined, the curvature itself in reality is measured using horizontals and verticals, using perpendicular 90 degrees. That's how they measure what is called curvature.
The prosecution rests. It's been resting for years. We didn't. I know I wasn't the only one to pull up the. Maybe I was. I can't remember. I remember pulling this definition up and saying, well, wait a damn second here. Because this and this are paradoxical. Then they did something else. It was pretty funny. Merriam-Webster, check this out. Right here. So down beneath that paradoxical definition, here's what they say. Level, flat, plane, even, smooth means having a surface without bends or curves. Well, how can you state that without bends or curves and then come up here and say conforming to curvature?
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's just one more hammer on the paradox. This one right here. It's on the same page in Merriam-Webster.
Well,
so go ahead.
I just used to think of it as just like a very nicely eloquated okey doke, right? Because they're telling you that definition says no part higher than the other, and then it goes right into curvature right after that. Well, what if there is no curvature of the Earth? Right? If there is none, then yeah, level and horizontal purport to the surface, the surface of the liquid on Earth, because it's horizontal.
It's a little deeper than I wanted to go into. I'll just prosecution rest right here, or I can go down.
No, I hear you. I just
go,
like this flipping and bouncing.
I could go down here a little further and rest right here before curvature. The first part says no part higher than another. That is no elevation change. And then the second part of this definition says conforming to curvature. Well, curvature means elevation change. You can't have no elevation change and elevation change at the same time. It's paradoxical. It's a married bachelor. It's military intelligence. It's achromatic rainbows. This is all horse shit, and it friggin' implodes right here. You have to come up.
To me, it's like defining up as the opposite of down, and also the opposite of up. It's fucking stupid.
Go ahead, Adam.
In the definition, they use colons.
Yeah, colon.
I'll read use of a colon. Colon is used to give emphasis, present dialogue, introduce lists or text, and clarify composition titles.
Correct.
Not in this case. Used to introduce exactly what we're exposing here. The use of a colon is to imply your supportingness. Here's another fact. Yeah, with it. Look at the contradiction we're pointing out. It's a wholly inappropriate. And this is my point from a dictionary point of view. It's a wholly inappropriate point of using colon. They're not related, those two things, by every other definition in their book.
Correct.
Just for this one sub-definition of level.
Correct.
See, look, it says level, colon, having no part higher than another. Colon, affirming to the curvature.
Adam,
Sorry?
I could have put this colon in here by mistake. This could have been a dash. I don't know.
And I'd have to take all that back. However, the intonation's still the same, whether or not that is correct. They're still putting it there and equivocating it between the two as if they are the same thing.
Oh, well, they're using colon, Adam. I'm sorry. Well, let's go down to adjective. They did. They used the colon. So 1A having no part higher than another, and then another colon. So let me go back and change that. I was correct. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're just, this is just quibbling over nonsense. These two, everyone can see it who can fog a mirror. The first part and the second part. This part is contradictory to this part. Period. End of story. It's a paradox. It's a law of identity violation. So it's void.
I'll read it again, though, John. A colon is used to give emphasis. Yeah? Introduce lists or text and clarify composite. Yeah? It doesn't. It does the complete opposite to what a colon's there. It's supposed to support it, yet we're giving an opposite definition.
Yes.
Using the colon.
Is that, can that also be considered equivocation, depending on how they argue?
It's using the same word in two different senses within the same argument. That's equivocation. A classic.
Right. So
a classic equivocation. Hold on. A classic equivocation would be gravity. In one sense, they can describe it as Newtonian, but if in the same argument they change it to general relativity, the curvature of space-time, then that's equivocating. Follow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's equivalent to a bad curry. Colon abuse.
Colon abuse. I think it stands on its own. I think we don't have to go anywhere else. If that was the genesis of the argument, or you're saying, I've heard ballers not speak to this part of the definition. All I've heard them say is conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. Number one, if they do that and they cite Merriam-Webster, that is quote mining. You could call it cherry picking if you wanted to, because they forgot this part. Right. So if they're doing that, like I said, the whole argument implodes because the argument is premised on that, correct? On level. Yes. Yes. Maybe.
Well, are you saying, yeah, the argument is opposed to the juxtaposition between the definitions of level and curved? Because that's what they're equivocating between the two. That's what to mention. Is level curved? Because that's
no
proving itself.
Yeah, it's a paradox.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's circular. It's only proving itself in that one definition.
No, it's not proving itself. It's I don't know why we're still on this. I'm going to take this off my screen in a second. It's a paradox. It was over a long time ago. It's over, right? You see this part, folks?
It's proving itself to be a contradiction.
Yes. Right there. It's all over right here.
Exactly, chocolate. Yes.
Yeah, so that game's over. Now we can move on to now you're saying that the question, the new housekeeping question, sprung from this? Sprung from a paradox? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think that's the best. Sometimes that's probably a more sensible place to start. Not that that's where we did, but that's kind of where it's ended up, is founded in that paradox. And I said that paradox can only exist in a baller's mind, which is the best part of the question.
Eric Erpelding, I just noticed your horse shit down here. If the dictionary gives alternate definitions of words, using one of them is not cherry picking because all the definitions are valid in a proper context. That is incorrect, you numpty dipshit. has nothing to do with this. Follow. This definition within the boundaries of the definition of level contains a paradox. Do you understand, Crayon Muncher? This blue part and this red part, no other words. These two right here, they are mutually exclusive. There is a paradox, country boy. Clown show.
Can I address that point, John?
Go ahead.
I want to use a World Cup analogy because Spain lost on penalties tonight. I can say that after 90 minutes, Spain were level with Morocco. There isn't a contradiction there. It's got a completely different meaning. Yeah, that's not a contradiction because the two words have different meanings. There's no issue with Spain being level with Morocco. It doesn't mean they were on the same horizontal plane in any effect, does it? It means they were level. It's a different meaning of the word level, and you can use that. But what we have and what we're presenting here is it contradicting previous definitions.
Correct. So Nathan Oakley, who is the Crayon Muncher? It's Eric Pelding up there in chat. He said if the dictionary gives alternate definitions of words, whatever the fuck that means, using one of them is not cherry picking. I wasn't doing that. They cherry picked by definition this definition, cherry picking. They left out, ballers leave out this part of the definition and just state level is conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. That's cherry picking because they left this part, the beginning, out. That's the definition of cherry picking. It's also quote mining. Same thing, though. Follow? It's very easy to adjudicate this. Follow? We good? You good, Nathan?
That was two separate criticisms, one from me and one from you of his point, actually.
Yeah.
Double shotgun.
Double shot. Hey, Betty, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
And
And?
we have a super chat.
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear you.
I put it in DM because you guys were ranting on
Oh,
about
you.
something so stupid that we need to make a house question.
I was going to get your opinion on this whole thing, and I kind of figured what you were going to say, and I agree 100%.
Yeah, I don't. You know what I would say?
Yeah, it is a.
So stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I agree. Oh,
They are doing stuff to. I mean, everything that's digital, you can easily change, and we need to be aware that they are doing this. This is Orwell, right? We're living right in the middle of Orwell or Orwellian times, where they can change in hindsight every definition, every book, everything that's online, right? They're doing it already. They have been doing it, and they're doing it to get people to conform and to get people in their narrow-minded.
Conform to the liquid parts of the Earth's surface?
They want to have people narrow-minded.
Okay, are you going to read out this chat, first of all? Super chat?
If you want me to, I can.
Please.
Okay. So this was from Face Reality in the beginning of the show almost. He said, just want to say thank you for the Rob and Norm treatment series. Had many unforgettable laughs and knowledge as always, and he gives you 4 stars.
Oh, you're very welcome, Face Reality. Yeah, that Face Reality was pretty impressed with that. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I knew what Betty, because I was going to ask Betty what her thoughts on the subject, where I was just waiting. I kind of knew what she was going to say. So that was a setup. Because
I mean, this is so ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, because we went over this many moons ago with this.
Shut up, Nathan. I keep my mic open whenever I want. Sorry.
Can you tell Betty she isn't on mute?
This isn't the first time we've had to deal with this, right? Weren't we present when they purposely took out observation and what was it? Observation and experiment out of the definition of the scientific method.
Who
We had
took
to
it?
check it with the Wayback Machine, and then we looked and we were like, "Oh shit! Look, there it is." They took it out.
Who took it
Like
out?
they've done this before. I don't know. Whoever they, I guess you could call them.
Are you talking about
somebody on Wiki?
Are you Oh, you're talking about Wiki. That's a whole different game. Because Wiki, anyone and their sister, if it's not cited within Wiki, that means all that text in there could have been put in there by Helen Keller. Right? You can't. So Wiki is a separate subject from that. Even though it's connected, I hear what you're saying. But when you say they aren't Merriam-Webster. So be careful with that.
But
I see what you mean, but they just took it to a different level. Right? Now it's actually a dictionary that's recognized that they've done it to, as opposed to Wiki.
Yeah, but they haven't
just stepping the game up.
Yeah, but they haven't changed. Merriam-Webster didn't change anything. They paradoxed it. There's no change. That definition's been that way ever since I first looked it up.
The you know, one of the things to mention is kind of like this is when they will have citations taken down, but then, you know, they're put right back up by the EDUs because there were other notable people in academia who also cited the work. So
we already went over that. Yeah.
Just in relation to that, they're not only Merriam-Webster's changed anything, and in doing so created the paradox.
Yeah, but they didn't change anything.
I know, but the only reason within the definition, the only reason to create the paradox is why? Is to bring the theology of a ball earth into it. It's the only reason the paradox exists. So it's one individual corruption. That's not dictionary definition corruption. If you want that, then you could look at vaccination as an example. That had a definitional change across all from something that conferred immunity to something that conferred reduction in symptoms. That was a definitional change. Well, we're not that far ahead. If there were, there wouldn't be the paradox. If we actually change the definition of height or whatever the words we've discussed, that would mean it could confirm. That's not the issue. It's the fact that Merriam-Webster have created their own paradox against their own definitions, and the only purpose is to give support to what? Curvature to a ball earth of water.
Correct. There was no change. They never changed anything here. Unless and I just pulled it up. It's the same one. Let's check it. Let's pull it over. So you got to go to the adjective, right? That's what we're interested in, this guy, right? The descriptor. Having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface. That's been the same definition the whole time. When I first looked it up, that's what I found right there. Yeah. So there's no changing, even though I understand everyone's concerned with other changes, more like deletions. Like with other citations.
It's being compromised, John. It's compromising your standards. Make a secondary point.
That's what it appears to be. I don't even know if they're aware of it. Did somebody contact Merriam-Webster to say, hey, you're contradicting yourself not only within this statement, but within your other statements concerning what level is?
Can we call them right now? It should be a part of the show. Or call them whenever someone with a show, call them. Why not? See what they say.
Yeah, because here it is right down here. Like I said,
we need another
pull a Robert Bassano and call him up.
Yes,
Like, you guys
I'm on it right now. I'll make a call.
Special guest.
Making a call now.
No, call Robert Bassano, special guest on TV to have him. Are y'all still cool? I hope y'all are still cool.
Yeah, too funny.
That would be cool.
Where is he when you need him? You get another super chat, by the way.
Outstanding.
You got one from Chris Katura's Fight the Good Fight. And he says, Flatman Can says, hit that thumbs up button below. And then he has some 2 fingers up with a man with sunglasses on. What does that mean, anyways?
Peace. With sunglasses,
Oh.
he's cool.
Cool. Or swag. Whatever.
Who cares?
And what is CA then? CA?
CA, he might be from California.
Oh, okay.
Fight the good fight. You from California?
Canada.
Oh, Canada. Okay, fair enough.
Is he in here?
You know me, John. I've sent you a few super chats before. I think you were thinking of making me the head of your PR department, but that was just a joke, I'm sure.
I've had a few of those through the years. One didn't work out too well because he compromised himself the next day by calling somebody a fucking idiot.
Hard to hire good help.
It is hard to hire good help. You're right. Shout out to Chocolate.
Well, keep them low paid.
Hit him with the wall, Chocolate.
You knew that was coming.
All right, when I got to walk 30 feet back to my phone because it's charging because you made a stupid joke, like that just pisses me off.
But wasn't there a guy, controversial, where he did change something in his text? It was just someone from a university, but you caught him and was already cited somewhere, and he had to put it back up.
Yeah, that was Professor Wolf's, but he didn't change anything. He deleted the entire link.
Well, that happens too, you know.
Yeah, Professor Wolf's deleted the entire link on the scientific method, but he didn't think about it because a lot of people had already cited him in their papers, published papers. So when people would go to the link wouldn't be there anymore. So what happened was he got blowback. He would, because it was all over the place. It was an NCBI database, a number of articles that had...
What a dumbass.
Yeah, it was really... I was sitting back because after it was deleted, I said, well, wait a second. I've noticed this cited in many instances. So I just sat back and just waited because I knew there was going to be blowback. And it didn't last for too long. I think it was down for like a week, maybe 10 days. Then I went back and it was back up again. Yeah, too funny. Shout out to Professor Wolfs, you numpty dipshit.
Do they ever think about what they do?
No. So I'm super serious about getting this definition amended. Like, is there a process for that? Is there any precedence for this?
I'm sure there is.
Right?
I'm sure there is. Yeah, Neil, are you calling him?
Yeah, I'm on it.
All right. Neil will take care of it.
Adam, I made it. I'm alive, and my 2 boys are alive with me. Now we got 1 more leg.
That's outstanding news. I'm glad that you and both boys are okay. I don't mean to sound. It's just the way you said it. I'm fine. Oh,
It's been raining the whole way. There was a couple of scary situations, but I maintained control. Taught them both to fall asleep while I'm driving. They were wide awake after that.
Is Nathan trolling?
Yeah, it's going to be raining all week.
Is Nathan trolling? Hey, Adam, Nathan's asking back in, this was a few minutes ago, he's asking if you're drunk.
I looked at that. I wondered if he was referring to me, because not even close yet, pal. I don't know if he was referring to the other Adam 2, Price of Adam.
He could. Oh, gotcha. There is another, the Price of Adam and okay, gotcha. Sorry about that. That's possible.
Well, that's handy, isn't it?
Just for Neil, keep on trucking, son. Keep enjoying it. And when you call them, I'm not sure the best phrase to use. Maybe definitional paradox that they've created. Get their attention.
It would probably be better to do it by email, not by phone, so you have a record of it.
No. Imagine Neil ringing you up telling you've got a definitional paradox. You'd shit it.
Like I would know.
Exactly.
Oh, imagine you ringing up and you're with that accent going like, do it.
Probably
Tell them you've got,
changed
tell
the
us
whole
we've got a
definition of a
definitional paradox.
What?
I'd be scared.
Let's not forget, and Nathan, I hope you're listening. What I'm proposing is something that would be good content. Okay, I want the call on a live show. I mean, that would be cool as hell.
But then they will just change the definition of paradox.
You can't. Do
Do you think they care? They changed the
That's
model.
hilarious.
If it don't work, change the model. You think they care?
Can I shout out?
Don't steal my thunder, right?
Nathan's requesting I shout out Neil's GoFundMe. Neil, do you have a GoFundMe going on?
Yes, I do. I got hammered, man. Hammered. And now I find out it's going to cost me more in gas going back because I came with an empty truck and now I'm going back with a loaded truck. Yeah, it's a nightmare. But yes, I still have a GoFundMe. If anybody can help, I'd greatly appreciate it.
So you're moving from New York to Alabama, is that correct?
That is correct.
Greenbow, Alabama.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I'm just going to spam that GoFundMe link in chat now. It's there.
It's
Appreciate it.
already done by Divergent Droid.
You're a
Boy,
little
that
late.
guy's
You're a little late to the party there, Adam, but good on you.
Yeah, but from a timeline point of view, no one's got to scroll back. There it is.
And you have to keep doing it.
I shall do so forthwith if that's your suggestion, Betty. On it.
Then
All
we
right.
can remove you by being a spammer.
All right. Did we solve anything here?
We didn't solve anything because you guys were going to continue about, well, a decade on this level and horizontal thing.
I was not. I was trying to nip it in the bud, Betty. You know what I was
Yeah, I
doing.
know. But you know, that's what's going to happen.
That's not going to happen because we have different people in here with different views on the same paradox.
Yeah, well, it's total paradox.
I think if
think
Betty can
we
just
solved-
recite the new housekeeping question, then we should end it there. If she can't, we should carry it on. Is that fair?
I mean, if you get that housekeeping question and you go and say to the people on the street and say, "Hey, I got housekeeping questions for you," and then you come up with that definition and say the Earth is flat, therefore, what does it do? I mean,
don't know.
the other housekeeping questions have something to do with the nature of the world that we live on. The other one is pure semantic discussion.
Yeah, but
It's
to be fair,
refined addressment.
that's actually a question I've asked, like personally, to people way before it became a housekeeping question.
So you say, "Hey, flatten
Wait,
the curve."
the reason it makes sense is because, like Chocolate said, he works with people that do construction and all this. And so they only have the definition as it relates to what they do every day. It has nothing to do with, like, that's the point. The reality is those definitions have nothing to do with the sphere whatsoever, curvature whatsoever.
But the thing is, if someone would have said back in the day when I was still a baller, horizontal, I would have said, okay, that's level, that's a line, that's not curved. Even though, and that's the whole two contradictory things that we can hold in our minds, right? It's basically doublethink, Orwellian, right? But that's something.
Yeah, but that's the whole point, Betty.
Crossed my mind that horizontal is not flat.
Because that's the point. That's reality, right? And when I ask people that, like somebody I just asked last week that very question, he said, well, This is a guy that does construction, has laid out concrete. So of course level is horizontal.
Yeah.
And then when I told him, okay, well, the people that, because he's a globe believer, obviously, and the people that argue against me for thinking that we do live on a globe will tell me the opposite. And he looked at me like I had 4 heads. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this question is good, because it's based in reality. And the only time, like Adam said before, the only time that level isn't considered to be horizontal is in this arena coming from the globe side. That's it.
Yeah, but it's for me, it's not the first thing that I would approach people on to just like make them think about our nature of the world that we live on, right? I would go to the gas pressure without a container thing.
And that's why that's question number one.
I go through all of them.
Yeah. I got you. Yes, Nathan, I was off mute. Huey, can you say to Nathan in the chat that he stops pestering me?
You want me to tell him?
Yes.
Nathan, stop pestering Betty.
Thanks. Finally.
Even though Betty summarized your 18 shows with one statement. That's not completely his fault, though.
A semantic discussion. Yeah.
I can do that with
you
all our
guys should
shows.
have something to,
Hold up, Adam. Go ahead, Betty.
You guys have to have something too. It's kind of your hobby, right? Just to talk.
No, not you guys, just some of the guys.
Yeah, I know that you use your words carefully and as limited as you can, except in the treatments, right? Because then you go off with people.
Well, I try to be concise, but then there requires some explanation, and there's multiple comments. So what do you want me to do?
Well, I'm specifically telling you about saying this about the names that you give people. They get more adjectives as long as you go. What about that Kuntik Blue Marbles guy? I mean, before you end that sentence, we are like 3 scenes from it, for example, right?
You're talking about Hillbilly Blue
Because
Balls, the redneck retard, a.k.a. the photosynthetic redneck, a.k.a. Mr. Gumby Football Field.
You see, that's what I was gonna say. The adjectives gotta also come with also known as.
Formerly known as. Too funny. Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam.
You forgot Knuckle Dragon Crayon Muncher.
See, they're paying attention. Too funny.
Yeah, I forgot.
I figured you did.
I'm more interested in remembering badges of retardia. They're not compliments, are they? But they are badges you earn by moments of absolute retardedness.
Yes, they're not without warrant. Each one of those, from Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard, has cowbell, right? The photosynthetic redneck and Mr. Gumby Football Field, they all have definite connotations. The first one, Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard, when he came and tried to disprove gas pressure without a container by showing up with 2 containers. That's how he earned that first moniker, right? And I think it's well-deserved. And then the photosynthetic redneck, he and Brian was having a debate or discussion, I don't know where it was, and Brian brought up, I don't know why he did, but it was hilarious. And as soon as I heard photosynthesis, I said, this fucking redneck retard is going to smash his face in with a spade shovel because he doesn't know dick. So he train wrecked himself with photosynthesis. He wouldn't know what photosynthesis was if it climbed up his arse and started kicking footballs wrapped in concertina wire. And then Mr. Gumby Football Field, again, the photosynthetic redneck, was what had a show and demonstration and a slide showing that on a football field, not only was the football field moving, but different parts of the football field were traveling at different speeds. So, Mr. Gumby football field. See how that's warranted? It's not just haphazardly assigned a name, correct? In other words, it has cowbell.
That's why Chocolate put the AKAs in. After each AKA is a separate, individualized moment of retardia that they've earned. It deserves separate recognition.
You had a discussion.
I remember.
Go ahead, Brian.
I remember that thing about the photosynthesis. I remember it was something to do with carbon or something like that. We were talking about gas and density or gas and pressure and all that. And it was a debate I was having with him on Jose's, I think it was. And he started using carbon and he started going into the photosynthesis cycle or whatever. He started talking about photosynthesis anyway. And he started lecturing me on what it was. Now,
yes.
I just gave a basic of what I knew at the time. I didn't know at the time. Just the basics of what I was shown in school or whatever. And that was all I knew. But he started giving me a lecture on it.
Yeah.
That's what made it funny because he didn't have a clue about what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And it was shown afterwards by you because you did know.
Oh, I was laughing my ass off.
hilarious?
I was laughing my ass off when you brought the subject up. I knew right where it was going to go. Even though you weren't an expert on it, you didn't need to be. You just needed to let him talk.
You know what's hilarious about y'all bringing up photosynthesis? What's his name? Zanuck. He told us what photosynthesis is, right? And then said that's the hypothesis. And I'm like, so just looking at a plant, you're able to guess photosynthesis before doing anything. You just look at it and all of the parts of photosynthesis, that'll be a hypothesis. They say, yeah.
He's a crackhead.
What?
Go ahead, Betty. Yeah, hold on a second, Betty. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a super chat from Tony Whitcomb. He says, Neil needs some wolf pups to protect his new house.
He does. Huh.
Yeah, do you have are your puppies raised yet so that you can have some new ones?
My puppies
Maybe.
stay in perpetual puppiness.
Perpetual puppy. So you have none to spare to give to Neil then?
I'll have to think about that.
I have to think, how many wolf pups do you have?
You know what?
Can you count? Maybe that's the difficulty for you answering this question.
You know,
I'd just like to point out that time's up, QA.
When I think of the past, it just brings back so many memories.
Oh, the wolf pup. The beagle pup.
Don't say beagle pups.
Are you gonna cry?
No.
Too bad.
All right, you guys got 15 more minutes.
15? You
Yeah.
said that it was going to take an hour for 15 minutes.
Yeah, hour.
You lied.
I did not lie. I told you. What did I tell you?
Yeah, that you had to leave at an hour and 15 minutes.
An hour and 30 minutes.
You liar.
Oh, jeez, I'm not a
I
liar.
was there. You heard it, and Adam heard it too.
Adam's not going to support this shit.
No, you might have to comply because you're the big wolf.
My point of interjection when I said time's up was my statement was I recollect, Your Honour, I was told the show would be an hour and 15 minutes tonight.
See, he's backing me up now. Wow.
I'm not back.
That's fine.
So, what are we going to talk about the next 15 minutes? The definition of...
You're still got to give us the new housekeeping question.
Who, Betty?
Yeah.
Me? How?
And we know it's valid. Once you've said it, the first lady sort of the words, then we can move forwards.
Listen, women are sort of tied to the housekeeping things. Let me stay away from these housekeeping things.
How, exactly. How can it be housekeeping if a woman's never said it?
That's racist.
Women aren't a race.
Yes, we are. Well, there's even a question. What is a woman nowadays? Have you
Oh,
heard
brother.
that discussion, people? That people are being asked, what is a woman? And that even the women can't answer that question. And then they say, well, someone that identifies as a woman. Okay, so what are they identifying with?
They get
Like
upset with
milk and
nuttier than squirrel shit.
But the same reason that the housekeeping question is a thing is the same reason that that's a conversation. Because people can't just accept what is. They have to make arguments to the contrary and then flip the burden on you. How dare you not say that I'm a chair? Huh? How do you? Only a dummy would continue to argue with that or come up with some formulation of an argument. Like, there's nothing to say to that. Okay, you're a chair. Whatever. Useless.
yeah. I've come to a world where things are so difficult now to just get your words out. But yeah, there's a whole new discussion now in the chat, right? Which is kind of
Well, what?
weird, right? Usually you couldn't say those words out loud, and now you have to define a woman by what sex she has. Unbelievable.
Well, what's flat Earth like around your region? Any personal run-ins with fallers?
Me?
Yeah, it's marshy.
What?
What's flat Earth around your region? And I said it's marshy.
Marshy. Watery and yeah. Well, it's. I think Holland is one of the flattest pieces. We live in a delta, basically. So, yeah. What do you want to say?
You live in a
Sorry.
delta dike.
We built the dikes, but the deltas were still there.
Whoa! That's definitely racist.
Yeah. When there still weren't a person, right? We built the dikes.
All right, this is spinning down the drain.
The thing is that's with words. It's people use words now in different ways where it's sort of it's degrading, right? The words are degrading. It doesn't mean what it means anymore, right?
Oh, brother.
It's just that fallacious reasoning has become a very popular thing now. Like, it's funny that when you pay attention to fallacies, you see them all over the place. Anybody in some type of official standing does nothing but tell fallacies and lies, and it's become very prevalent. Terrible.
Yeah. We heard the other day here in Holland that we can't say resistance heroes anymore. You have to say resistance persons. So what does that do? It diminishes the things that these people in the past did, right? Because they say, well, we have different views on stuff, so there are no heroes, but they are just resistance persons. Next thing, they are rebellions, right? And then they're cast out again. Everything that they did is made void. Or don't think that you can be a resistant hero in the future, right? By being rebellious or of an opposite view.
Well, it all makes sense to me when you think about who is the authority. like that. Because everyone thinks they can individually define and define whatever they want and think however they want, regardless of what we know to be true. And that's the only problem. Instead of going with the truth, everybody wants to do what they want.
Yo, Chocolate, isn't it crazy how when you become aware to the flat earth and everything, how you see the world is in nothing but the world is in fallacy. Everything they say,
That's the point.
you're in fallacy.
That's the point thank you for reminding me too, because I damn near forgot my point. What I think that they want us to have this kind of individualism because when you look to the TV, now any individual can be an authority on a subject. So when we try to come along and say, no, that's fallacy, no, that's not true, everyone else who's confused in Jedi mind trick can't make up their mind. Because we know the moment that I used to look up to, oh my God, not all the celebrities, but some celebrities. I used to look up to some politicians. I used to look up to some figures in power. And the only thing that I could hope to aspire to is maybe someone in a higher position than I am now. But the bottom line is once you become aware of logical fallacies, TV don't hit the same. Your local authority, it don't hit the same. Your government authority doesn't hit the same because you can hear them double speaking.
Yeah, true. But then again, it also divides, right? So if a word doesn't have a specific definition anymore, or it's like your truth and my truth, we all can have our own truths, basically. It sort of makes people not come together. Right? It divides people, even though that they think it's gonna do the other thing, right? Sort of unite people, right? Because you can all have your own truth and you don't have to disagree with anything. But it is dividing people because you can never agree on anything anymore in the future.
All right, let's wrap it
It's a
up.
really dangerous thing.
Let's wrap it up.
It's a dangerous thing, John.
I know it's a dangerous thing. Let's go ahead and wrap it up though, because I gotta bolt on out of here. Hope everyone got a lot out of this discussion. I think we squared away. I don't know about the housekeeping question. I think we'll see where that goes. The housekeeping question sounds axiomatic to me, which is not to say that it's incorrect. It might be. I don't know if it has any teeth, because I could axiomatically make housekeeping questions till cows come home, right? I might do that just to prove a point. Say again.
Make one on the fly.
I'm not making one on the fly because I got to fly.
No, you can't. See, there you go. It's already proven.
See, there's a fine line between a fisherman and some moron standing on the shore.
But isn't it also axiomatic that
Okay, we're gonna end it up. We could talk about this at some point, but we got to wrap things up. So I'm gonna wrap them up. Got it? Like I said, I hope you guys got a lot out of this discussion here today. It's back to we're just going back to the trough with morons. That using parts of definitions, cherry picking, just agendas for their train wreck, ball-tard spinning space monkey religion. You're just gonna slap them around. Pay attention to what they say and just slap them around like the doofuses that they are. Hang in there, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side. QE out.